Call the hearing to order. I would like to announce that this hearing is being live streamed to those who wish to attend virtually. Recording of the hearing will also be available afterward for anyone who cannot join in real time. Testimony is being taken this evening regarding the request from Landmark Homes, who is petitioning the township to consider vacating a portion of public right-of-way known as Allendale Road and adopting an ordinance to vacate said portion of right-of-way. Said portion is 5,321 square feet in total area. The hearing was properly advertised in the Sentinel on December 31st, 2024, and proof of publication is on file in the township office. The hearing notice and information regarding the applicant's petition was also posted online and at the township office. Following tonight's public hearing, the Board of Commissioners may consider the petition and appropriate ordinance during their regular board meeting. I'll first take comments from the Board of Commissioners, after which I'll ask if there are public who wish to speak. If so, please come forward to the podium, clearly state your name and address for the record, and direct your comments to the Board of Commissioners rather than to the audience. This hearing is being recorded. Speakers will have one opportunity to speak, which should limit their comment to possible 3 minutes. So with that, you wish to introduce the item. All of the information was sent out by planning and zoning beforehand. We also have a letter dated October 14th from Landmark Homes requesting things. So are there questions, comments, or considerations that you as a board would like to express at this time?
It goes to the adjacent property owners, is that correct?
Correct.
And they're in around the township, a couple of them?
Yes. So the shaded areas here, this person is an Upper Island Township resident, and the West Shore Jewish community, that is also an Upper Island Township property as well.
And they are aware they're getting additional land.
Yes, this was first discussed with the Phase 4 project for Legacy Park and part of the Allendale realignment project that went along in Phase 4. So they were aware of this. There is some, this other side that is not shaded is actually on the borough side. So the developer is working in conjunction with both the township and the borough to get the entire right-of-way dedicated. So they're going through the various processes now, because I think when we approved our part of Phase 4 for the realignment, and the borough approved the phase, part of this was that within 6 months after the construction, they would start the vacation process.
And if it's approved tonight, would they rewrite the deeds for the Upper Island Township residents? Because it's going to be confusing on the tax map that the people in that little tract of land recorded an overall deed.
Yeah, so eventually a deed would get redone. That would not happen after tonight's decision. Our next step after this public hearing is for the board at its regular meeting to decide if it wants to accept moving forward with the ordinance and ultimately adopt it. Then the solicitor has to prepare a written report. That written report needs to be filed at the county recorder of deeds office, and we have to allow a 30-day period for anybody to file petitions against it. So at the expiration of that 30-day period, if there's no appeals, or if there are appeals and you go through whatever processes to remedy the situations, once all of that has cleared, then the board is in a position to adopt the ordinance. After that ordinance would be adopted, then the developer would work on rewriting the deeds.
Thank you for all that. The question really is, would Landmark handle rewriting our township property owners deeds. So
Yes, they're gonna be.
they're gonna have to be encumbered with iron.
Correct. So the developer Landmark is going to take care of that. So they're responsible for doing everything associated with this vacation.
Fascinating that they're not here.
I did send notices out to them. My understanding is that they were going to have someone present tonight. I don't know why they're not in the audience.
So is our action in any way influence dependent upon, or is it totally independent of the action for the last day?
It's independent of their action.
Just clarify again, the shaded area, like the top of the screen is north. The shade that goes to the
Yeah.
homeowner.
They have a, yeah, so here's the north arrow. So this is kind of northeast.
Yeah, where you're headed.
Yeah.
That goes to the older homeowners, right? Not the new lot owners.
Correct. So this shaded area is the area within Upper Island Township. So it goes to the property owners where their property is on. This other area down here is the rest of what was the old Allendale Road. This big thick dashed line with the, you see right here, that is the municipal boundary line. So everything below it is Mechanicsburg Borough boundaries. So the remainder of that road right of way, which you see it goes down to this line right here. That is all within Mechanicsburg Borough's property areas.
But eventually go to the lot.
Correct. Correct. It would go to whoever owns those lots in the borough.
And make a point to like tickets tonight, but well, I can buy it the other day. It's much improved.
You change it or you change it?
It's not even right. Yeah, you got it, but also-
Great, is there any comments from the audience? And this is in respect to the hearing for the Allendale right of way. Yes, none. So if there are no other comments, I just, as indicated previously, we may take action, or we're free to take action on this later tonight at our regular meeting. So choose, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. So the second, all in favor, aye? No, thank you. We will see everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Meeting will come to order. We're now holding a meeting of Upper Island Township Board of Commissioners, our meeting of January 8th, 2025. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please join me for a moment of silence. The pledge of allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have the roll call, please.
Commissioner Walsh,
Present.
Commissioner Fairchild, Commissioner Strano,
Present.
Commissioner Martin.
Present. By way of announcement, I did want to mention that some of you are aware that there's a pending land development plan for 1206 South Market Street. This board will not be taking action on that tonight. There will be a zoning hearing board, I believe, tomorrow night.
Yeah, and it's just the special exception. It's not a land development plan. I just do want to make that clarification.
Yes.
They have not submitted any land development plans.
Go ahead. But that will come before the zoning hearing board first, so if you were here to comment and or anticipate action on that, I just wanted to announce that in case. But I don't want you to leave, but if you were here for that specific thing, you need not.
Mr. Martin.
Yes.
I thought that applicant saw an extension.
Yes, I'm sorry, so we will still have a zoning hearing board meeting tomorrow night to discuss the other case on Williams Grove Road. But the applicant for 1206 South Market did request an extension. Right now, they have asked for the extension until April.
Okay, thank you. You're great. I missed that. So that probably would be dealt with later. Spring. Okay, thank you. Also wanted to mention that, you notice that, Commissioner Anderson is not seated to my left. This is Commissioner Walsh. We did receive, a letter of resignation from Jenny effective the end of the calendar year 2024. We'll take formal action on that later, but she's been experiencing some health issues more recently, and so she decided to step down. So we wish her well, and we will have more activities to honor her and like the service throughout the year, but that's the reason for it. This meeting tonight will be live streamed for those who wish to attend virtually. A recording of the meeting will also be available afterward for anyone who did not join us in real time. With our meeting materials for the minutes of our board meeting of December 4, 2024, any questions, additions, or corrections?
So moved.
Second.
We move to second, any discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Those no, motion carried. Thank you, Alexis. Now, by way of visitors or folks that are on the agenda for an item that is on the agenda, I'll wait until that time to recognize you. For those who, I believe we have one individual who wishes to speak, address the board on an item not on the agenda. That's Harrison.
Good evening, my name is Karen Oakley Smith, and my address is 855 Oak. I just had a little comment to share with the board of commissioners and the community residents to let you know that Cumberland County Point in Time Count is coming up, and they're looking for volunteers for that. In case some people might not know about the annual point in time count, it's conducted each year in January, allowing local, regional agencies to gain insight on the progress being made towards ending people's homelessness. And they collect demographic information and they assess clients' needs when they go out and identify them. You might know that Connect to Home is an NGO and they're partnering with the Cumberland County Housing Authority. They'll lead staff from partner agencies and community volunteers in conducting the annual point in time count and get a homeless census on Wednesday, January 22nd, and Thursday, January 23rd. The point in time count will provide a snapshot of sheltered and unsheltered individuals experience homelessness in Cumberland County during this time period. During the census, specialized outreach teams conduct brief conversations and observational surveys with the people on the street to confirm if they did sleep sheltered or unsheltered the night of January 23rd. And this is documented with their housing needs. And more than 36 partner agencies, staff, and community volunteers depart from multiple staging areas across the county to count and interview the people. The latest year for data on homeless students in Cumberland County was 2022, and that year there were 616 homeless students in Cumberland County. And every school district has a homelessness liaison for the students there. And depends for various school districts, contact for homeless students is Bethany Bridges. There's one shelter in the county, it's called Family Promise of Harrisburg Capital Region on Erford Road, it's 56 Erford Road, Campbell. So, does anyone have any questions? That's all I had on that, on this count. I just wanted you to know, I've participated in those accounts in the past. And they put it at this time of the year because of someone is in the snow now, you know, they don't have family or anyone who will let them in. And I've done point in time counts in the summertime, so a lot of people might be outside because it's not that extreme. And I've done, I found the chambers.
If someone were interested in volunteering or becoming involved, who should they contact?
Cumberland County Housing Authority. Thank you. Yeah.
Were you aware of any previous statistics for around?
I looked for them before I came in today, and the best that I could get, I wanted to focus on skill rooms, so all I could get was that the last thing that was published on the online database was for 2022. I also think maybe it's an issue on sometimes you don't see things. It wasn't broken down by townships, it was by school districts. And I could look more and then let you know if I find something, but this is what I came up with and how before I became over.
Sure.
Okay, I'm over.
I believe that everyone else who is registered to speak is addressing an item on our agenda. Okay, we have the listing of bills to be dispersed in the amount of $1,216,619.04. Are there any questions with respect to any of these proposals?
I had a question related to one bill. Sorry, I didn't contact Scott at the time, but it's $455,000 to Cumberland County. It was listed under fire. Is that like for the radios or something like that?
I think those are the B-25 radios that are going out. We should also need a corresponding expense out of the capital fund for police radios as well.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? I entertain a motion to approve. Second. Moved by Phil, seconded by Rick. Any discussion? All in favor of Bill, say aye. Opposed, no, motion carried. Looking then at public safety, I don't think we have to get higher, but we have, well, chiefs, which one is the warmest? Who wants to go first?
Thank you. Just to mention, August Pizza Pro was sworn in, Judge Pack on January. And Commissioner Stranding of Washington. So he's working just already and recognizing, so thank you for the company. Other than that, that's all I have. Thank you.
Yeah, just to let everybody know, our fund drive went out. Same time our fund drive went out, the neighboring fire department's fund drive went out. And somehow they inadvertently mailed it to everybody in Upper Allen. So just make sure when you donate that Upper Allen is your fire department, the local fire department. So the other fire department does not provide any services to Upper Allen.
Both, I believe, in New Cumberland.
Yeah, River Rescue out of New Cumberland. And they provide a boat, but the boat we use is out of Monroe, so we don't even use their boat. So we've contacted them, they said it was an error, but they mailed them to Monroe, Upper Allen, and Mechanicsburg, so. But, and then, my year-end reports will be at the next meeting, so.
Good. How are we doing for calls here today?
Well, last Friday was 11 crashes. So. We finished for the year, we finished the third busiest truck in Cumberland County, ladder truck.
Really?
Yeah, it was Carlisle, Lower Allen, and then Upper Allen, so.
Well, keep up the good work. We have, we can't thank you guys enough to have the quality of volunteer fire department. Anything else, public safety?
Yeah, just briefly, I just want to mention that last night I attended the open house at the Cumberland County Department of Public Safety and was thoroughly impressed. It's just a state-of-the-art, high-tech 911 call center. I had no idea it's like something that CSI TV. Really impressive. So the second open house is tonight until 9 o'clock. But you can't look for next year. It's worth it. Thank you.
Anything else? All right, then moving to planning and zoning, I think the first item is fantastic.
Yes, before you tonight, we have an applicant that is going through the development plan process for a fantastic shop. And one of the things before they proceed with final design on their development plan is they would like to present and discuss a waiver and deferral request. These were recently discussed with the planning commission, and the planning commission did recommend approval. So they are looking for consideration and action tonight so that they know how to move forward with their plan. That plan will then be presented again to the planning commission for their recommendation, and then it would come back to this board.
No, my name is Chris, I'm the Burbank Associates. As Jennifer pointed out there, we currently have a plan, going through planning commission review stages. And two comments that came on through the review was the installation of sidewalks along the frontage along South Market Street. So the concern there really is that the corridor with Bumblebee Hollow down along South Market provide pedestrian access. We feel that the area there really doesn't suit with the heavy traffic flow along South Market. There is also an existing McCallum Drive or McCallum access point that comes from residential development to the south and feeds up to Bumblebee Hollow. That's basically the point of our deferral for that. Obviously, the deferral would be something that we could look into, becomes a point in the future.
Let's ask you a question. How do people get from coming from Bowman's? I see the trail that goes out to Bumblebee Hollow. How would one get fantastic from that trail?
Well, there is no means for that at this point. I mean, we feel that, with it being a retail location, we will provide parking within the facility, obviously. So if you go on there, mostly it's, by traffic, by car.
I was in favor of thinking that people could access to Zoom and to podcast. Is there any way to do that? Margaret, back there?
I'm sorry, from South Market directly along our site?
No, not on South Market. There's a trail that goes from. I thought you were arguing that there's a trail.
We can credit union and
Right. So with this thing, we haven't trail here.
Right, so
Bumblebee Hollow. Are you looking for the possibility of connecting over across?
that would strengthen your argument.
I mean, our concern here is the activity of vehicles. I mean, this is an active garage, an active shop, same with vehicles.
Okay, what's
I mean, we just don't feel that pedestrian traffic is needed to our location for our site.
nobody skateboards in one time to front that?
I didn't think we wanted people on skateboard running on the sidewalk. Anyhow,
I'd rather have the sidewalk on the street.
I understand.
And you, I thought there was a way to.
I was just saying that was about that, and then it's like I would rather see people in the back there, away from the street. You're just saying it that way, I mean. Well, there's gonna walk without going across the center of the parking lot.
That's the concern between the topography here in front of the road, is there is drainage ways going down through here currently, and there is some embankment here along the front of the block. A lot of utilities, and we have multiple points of crossing here for the access into Zimmerman. There's access here, the other access on the street, and the access below. Yeah.
And you don't have sidewalks from Bumblebee Hollow to your proposed property now anyway along Market. And Market's the business street, but, you know, I thought you were proposing as an alternative to come up the back way, even though it's a narrow asphalt sidewalk, it's kind of a lame excuse for a sidewalk, but you could walk it, or you could go with it. So is there a way, and then that could serve even people from the Bumblebee Hollow development as well as from the village. There's freeway, all those, I mean, is there a way that you could connect that asphalt trail off of Bumblebee Hollow and come across the back of Zerley's property right into your property?
There is potential for that. There is a basin to the rear that we're going to use as part of our design for handling stormwater. And relatively flat, topography wise, so there is potential we could come in the rear that way. We understood that the concern was more connecting the residential development to the storage fronts on Bumblebee. That's why we weren't looking at our needs for our front.
But there are residential areas north of Market Street, granted, but if you look at the south of Market Street, you have that whole Bumblebee Hollow residential development, you have the what was it? Yeah, and Bowman's Village or whatever. I mean, there's a lot of potential walkers there. Plus another question of the township you get through Bumblebee Hollow Road, you get over to Bumblebee Hollow development or that site. So I think for me, your argument for deferral would be a lot stronger if you showed us a way to.
Yeah, that's what I thought Joe said, planning commission, I misunderstood that.
Yeah, I understood that the concern with the staff was more of connecting from Bumblebee to the residents, for the residents to provide up to Bumblebee, not so much to access our property itself. That's certainly something we can look into, look at the topography and see if we can get a connection points to the rear.
I would like to see that option, at least essentially, that also wise, like kind of in your favor. Also, they're concrete or whatever.
So, you know, I can see at some point there might be a sidewalk along South Market Street, but right now I don't believe there's sidewalk in front of Turkey Hill. And I don't believe there's sidewalk in front of Zimmerman's Automotive.
Correct.
And so, and then beyond that, there's the residential area stuff. It seems like we started a possibility, you know.
But this plan is includes, this is something that's sort of deferral. You're requesting a deferral from all the way along Zimmerman's, as part of this plan,
Correct.
not just fantastic.
So this would connect the aqueduct car wash essentially to Bowman's Hill development.
From their property to the roadway in over the hill, there's still some missing sidewalk.
Correct. From us, from
To the street that goes in there like Elmer's Auto.
correct. Right, that area there is pretty steep as well, along that whole frontage there.
So I would hope that the board would take action for a deferral. I mean, I won't be in my lifetime, but someday there could be sidewalks along Market Street, maybe down the road, you know, it's like, we're right now. I think, personally, I think the argument would be stronger if you have access.
Like I said, we were looking for the deferral option, not so much the waiver of the situation, for the deferral of the town. The other item.
Would you entertain a deferral plus the option or the investigation to make the connection to the existing rail behind?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The other item there that's on consideration is for curbing within the development. So as I noted there's an existing drainage facility at the back of the Zimmerman. We wish to utilize that. We're going to drain all of our parking back to that. The curbing was caused, a blocking of the natural sheet flow. It's like amid that. There is a section of curbing that is missing along Market Street. We are in favor of filling that in because of the existing driveway that accesses our property today. We will sew that off and maintain all the drainage there as well.
Other comments or questions? No one has signed up, any comments from anyone in the audience? So I suspect with this discussion, you could come back with that other, what could be a minor issue solved, we could take action accepting that plus the deferral at once. Or we could at least, take action on the curbing if it's below the board, but there's a lot of protection.
Straightforward.
Pardon me?
It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah. You want to,
Sure, why don't I start with the current, I move to approve the waiver request of section 220-5.3.A1 to not install curbing within the site.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded, discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, no. So, you have that.
That's Steve on the deferrals. Steve, can we defer sidewalk and have them condition that they find an alternate to the Bowman's Hill, or the Bowman's Trail?
Yes.
Is that acceptable to you and your client?
Yes, I think so, absolutely.
Oh, that's, yeah. I'm okay with you. That is, but you want to put a timeline or something on that, because I'd be interested in seeing,
Well, I would like to-
seeing that before the bulldozers come and everything.
Well, obviously, the plan, needs revision, before it comes back and forth anyhow, so.
You'll
Like I said, yeah, this negative deals in the plan is fine.
We have to do the deferral, for a short time.
Contingent upon them, if they don't connect to that trail,
Then they have to get it in the sidewalk. Okay. Someone, ready to put that in the form of a motion?
Move to approve the deferral request of section 220-5.3.B to install sidewalks along South Market Street with the condition that the applicant consider or look into the connection of existing trails to the west of the facility. If approved, the improvement shall be shown as a shown as a future improvement on the final plan, with a note stating this deferral is granted until such time as the board and commissioner deems the improvement necessary.
There's a second.
second.
It's been moved and seconded. Jen, do you have any comments? Did we make that clear enough that, not gonna be, you in 10 years?
No, I understand what you're asking for. I think it may take some conversations on the applicant's part because that trail is probably, I'm guessing, owned by the homeowners association down there. I don't know who owns the trail, so they may have to have conversations with that property owner. And we don't know if they'll allow for that
I
connection.
think that's what Phil made a better motion than I would have made him connect. So the motion is I'm looking into it, reporting back.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's some variables there that we don't know the answers to yet.
Very well. No, so. Yes, all in favor, aye? Opposed, no, motion carried, thank you, and also, from a voice of warning, we know you're talking about these sites, you see them doing the kind of, but this is a need that a lot of youth really enjoy skating, right, and so. Welcome to the center.
Good pass time, keep everybody on the truck, right? Thank you.
Next item is consideration of a public hearing for text amendments, and we have in front of us as item number 3B.
Yes, these are amendments that the board has seen. We have taken this to the planning commission. I believe you reviewed these back in earlier in the past year in the summertime, I think July and probably October timeframe. And then we took the amendments to the planning commission for their discussion. We had discussions with them in October and December. And then the Cumberland County Planning has also reviewed the amendments. So at the December meeting, the planning commission did recommend approval of the amendments. I think there is probably one issue that we would still want to discuss with this board, along with any other questions you might have, but I think it comes under the parking issue for what would be section 29 and increasing the parking requirements, and really just looking for the board's direction as to whether or not you want to increase the parking requirements for those additional parking spaces. The planning commission, I think their take was more probably not to include it, or to include some caveat that we look at developments on a case-by-case basis, rather than requiring additional parking for all of these types of developments that may come through. The county had reservation just because of the affordable housing crisis going on. And their concern was that requiring additional parking, especially for like townhomes, would possibly increase the cost of the homes themselves or rent. And when those prices are already at their kind of peak amounts and we have housing shortages in the area, they were concerned that that would sort of exacerbate the issue. So I don't know that they were, I think they kind of took a neutral stance, but they really wanted the township to consider the housing crisis as to whether this was the right move for us to make or not. So looking for a little direction from the board, and then any other questions you might have. Because this is just coming back to you after a few months, if you also want to take a couple weeks to look it over and provide any additional comments, we can do that if you're not comfortable scheduling a public hearing. Because we would like to get as many changes as possible in that advertisement. So we want it as clean as possible. And also our township solicitor is still reviewing. I did just send that to him for final review. So I want to make sure that there's no grammatical changes or anything like that. So we do have some time. So if you're more comfortable, we can always table that decision for a hearing date, and we could bring it to a future meeting. I know we've done that in the past as well. So those are the issues I wanted to bring up tonight.
What is the will of the board? The board would like the additional review.
In the parking, really, you only would have, you have issues where people are driving, where townhome complex would have driveways and garages, and then the developer counts those as parking. And then forcing they're not used, forcing the cars onto where there's not enough parking, so.
Right, so what was proposed to change was for residential dwellings, we require 2 parking spaces per dwelling. And when you get into like townhomes, 2-family detached dwellings, and multifamily housing, we also account for requiring additional spaces per guest for guest parking. And right now it's 1 space for every 4 units. And the proposal is to go down to 1 space for every 2 units. So that would increase your amount of parking that you would need to provide.
I attended that planning commission meeting.
Yes.
That I did, because there's still like sometimes, and it's like, and we're also there, and I thought the argument from Mr. Spinowski, or the family commission, that there's in White Hills, where they have a mix of townhomes.
Yes, yes, yes.
He was, vocal about, having more parking in that type of
Correct.
situation.
I think there was a mixed conversation about it, yes.
He lives there and sees it all the time, so I heard that part of it.
Yes, we have many conversations about some of the issues in the townhome communities. So yes, parking is one of them. You're right, you're absolutely right on that.
Just looking over, it, I just wanted to comment, I think the section 132A on vegetation over sidewalks and roadways, et cetera. I think it was extremely well written.
Oh, thank you.
And the question I had, section 21M, no gas station within 300 feet of the school.
Which section number is it?
Section 21.
Let me get to,
And I was about. Okay.
so actually we are adding this because, so what it says is, convenience stores with or without gas dispensing and gasoline service stations. It says cannot be located within 300 feet of any, public or non-public school property. Under schools, we say that they cannot be located within 300 feet of any gas stations or gas service stations, but we don't have it in the reverse order. So we were trying to correct that deficiency so that it applies both ways. Because in theory right now is a school couldn't go in within 300 feet of a gas station, but a gas station could go within 300 feet of a school.
And
So we were trying to correct that
I
issue.
understand, so this is saying that both gas stations can go within 300 feet of public property.
Correct.
Why?
So typically there is a separation distance between certain uses, and gas stations tend to be one of them with school districts for various health and safety
I
reasons.
don't want to get into reasons.
Yeah.
Agree with that, but just. That would preclude anything on Gettysburg Pike, Market Street down past this building, because school owns the former Hess farm, and that's. Within 300 feet. So to me. I find that statement very restrictive, but I don't. We can talk about that. I don't know. This is.
Okay.
And you can explain the rationale.
Okay. But in short, that is why we added this section in, is because of what we already have in our ordinance for schools.
Steve, we set a public hearing meeting, that handicap before we advertise and advertise the hearing. Would you prefer more time?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with what I'm saying.
Actually, because of the advertising time and being out and giving Steve enough time, could we push that date past February 5th?
You mean the hearing date?
Yes,
Sure.
yeah.
Were you thinking of having a separate meeting or doing it prior to a regular scheduled board meeting? Okay.
I think if we do it at 6 o'clock, would you be okay with doing that at 6 prior to a board meeting? We could do March 5th.
I may not be here with that. I think go ahead.
Oh, are you not gonna be here?
That's good.
When you know who's running it. If March 5th is a good day.
It's just because we do have to advertise 2 weeks prior, and you need about a week prior to that to get the ad in, and we just want to make sure we have enough time for everything.
Township staff, we have the ordinance, public hearing on March 5th, 2025, since we have discussed the text amendments to chapter 189 to 2245. Board should be testimony on the public hearing. Following the close of the public hearing, the board will consider acting to either approve or disapprove proposed ordinance. The regular BOC meeting, March 5th, 2025, at 6:30 p.m.
There's a second.
Second.
Been moving second to schedule a public hearing, any discussion. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. So, March 20th.
Okay, thank you.
The next item on our agenda, really doesn't, this is just notice that there will be in front of the zoning hearing board a variance for 729 Williams Grove Road. That's already ground full sign at that property. And, did you want to mention anything by way of introduction in that?
We did already discuss that one. The applicant is proposing a variance request to allow for a ground pole sign that is not permitted by right. So that hearing will be tomorrow. That case came into us a few months ago, but it's been continued. The hearings have been continued for various reasons. So the zoning hearing board has actually not heard that case yet. Tomorrow night will be the first time hearing that case. So when I say continuance, it's not a continuance of the discussion. It's just the case itself was not able to be heard before tonight. And at the time of this agenda, the zoning hearing board was also going to hear the special exception request for 1206 South Market, but that has since changed. And as we said earlier, the applicant did request an extension. They are currently asking for the extension until the April meeting. So right now we have that tentatively scheduled for the April zoning hearing board meeting, and that date would be April 10th. But that may be subject to change as their discussions go forward. But for now, that's where that is.
But the signing section for tomorrow night.
For tomorrow night, correct.
I think we have one individual that wanted to speak. Do you want to say anything about it?
Think that we move forward. I just have a brief comment. Williamsburg Road is a 45 mile per speed limit. I would venture to say that most of the cars are going 55 or above. And an elevated sign would actually be beneficial for people exiting that particular driveway, because ground level, you're blocking a lot of sight distance, but an elevated sign wouldn't be a problem.
Good.
I don't think I want to do that stuff.
If you want to attend tomorrow night, THB and tell them that too, you're welcome.
I don't know.
Okay. Thank you.
I was also going to say, if for some reason you can't make it to the hearing, if you want to submit something to us in writing, we can present that to the hearing board as well.
Okay, you know that. A sign is not allowed to block sight distance, so
No.
there's no what's out there.
I don't know that answer off the top, so I know that's been there for some time, so. Well, that's something we can make sure that staff discusses with the hearing.
Any other comments on the board? Okay, moving forward, there is no hard meeting this month.
Correct, and we will also not have a planning commission meeting this month.
Good plan. Do you have anything else to get in planning?
Not under planning and zoning.
Very well. Then we'll move into public improvements. The first agenda item is the consideration to vacate a portion of right of way of road.
Correct, so this is in relation to the public hearing we had prior to the meeting tonight. This is consideration to approve or disapprove the request to vacate the right of way along Allendale Road that is part of the old Allendale Road realignment. If vacated, those portions of land highlighted on the screen above you would go to the property owner. As I said at the public hearing, this is not to adopt the ordinance tonight, but whether to approve or disapprove the request. And if approved, the township solicitor would provide a written documentation, a written report that would get recorded at the county recorder of deeds office. And then there is a 30-day filing period in which someone can petition any exceptions against it. And then after that 30-day period expires, if no petitions have been filed against it, then the board would be in the position to adopt the ordinance. And then if petitions were filed, we would have to work through whatever those issues may be.
The request to vacate an approximately 5,321 square foot area of right of way along Allendale Road. Township staff and the township solicitor are hereby authorized to file the appropriate written report and supporting documentation at the Cumberland County Recorder of Deeds office. After the 30-day filing period has expired or upon order of the court upon disposition of any exceptions, the board shall consider adoption of an ordinance to vacate said portion of right of way along Allendale Road.
Is there a second?
Second.
Who moved in second, any discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed, no, motion carried.
All right, thank
Moving
you.
then to the proposed purchase of a bucket truck.
Yes, listed as item 4B is a request for permission from the Board of Commissioners to purchase 2017 Freightliner bucket truck with a 65-foot all-tech double blue rear. I wanted to, this is normally one of those things that's a little outside of where we normally bring something to the board, but wanted to give the board an opportunity to weigh in on this vehicle. As you know, in 2024, we were looking to purchase a bucket truck. We was the board before, we were trying to get a couple brought up to us so we could inspect them. So that didn't work out as well as we had hoped. This one did come up to us at 5 in the year, but not in time for the board to review or take any action. Staff from both parks and public works reviewed the vehicle that was brought up to us by the auto sales. This kind of matches exactly what we were looking for. It is a little more, it is definitely more expensive than what we had originally budgeted. We originally budgeted $45,000. This one's $65,000 per. It is a Texas-based utility vehicle, and it has about 71,000 miles on it. Do note in my memo that the current bucket truck is a 1999 Chevy bucket truck with 25-foot boom width. We purchased that in 2011. So I think we've got successful amount of time out of it. We've used it well. It still works. It's just it's not an issue of it not working or not needing or needing major maintenance. It's an issue of it doesn't do what the township needs to do anymore. For example, we are getting into some of our own traffic signal maintenance, training one of our public works individuals to be able to reset them and also change bolts. Additionally, we cut down the number of trees that are hazardous to the roads, but as I know in the memo, a lot of the trees are above our reach, our ability to get. And additionally, it's just a safety issue. We can now, with a double engine, essentially, we can get staff even not directly under the truck being right there. So, for your consideration, I would request that look at this favorably and we can sell the older bucket truck. We think we can get about $3,000 to $5,000 back. Additionally, we did identify capital purchase of about $20,000 that we think we can push back. We're able to purchase this truck. So that would be the case there. This truck would be stored indoors at Whiteville North. So we do think that based on our history with our prior truck, we maintained and made sure it received its inspections annually, that we should be able to hold on to that one for 30 to 50 years. That being the case, that's the device.
I've been impressed with the video because it has a 50-foot horizontal reach, which is going to be helpful for working parks buildings and the township structures, etc. You can hard to stabilize surfaces and then really work, all in a part of some way. And you end up not having to mess with ladders, so I see this as kind of a safety issue too. Other comments, questions?
I agree, we had agreed to the first one, I forgot we had not. The question I have is that it's in Texas, if we authorize you to purchase it, when what happens? Does our mechanic run down and inspect it, or how's it get here?
No, they drove it up, it's in Cumberland, so they're in Campville or New Cumberland, I believe. Those were, or excuse me, it's in Burnville, PA.
No, it's in Berkshire County.
So, I know there was another salesperson in New Cumberland, but no, they brought this up, and they were going to bring other trucks out, but this is the one that came up first.
We have not seen it in person, it's fine.
No, if you actually look at the pictures, those are pictures from our guys taking pictures.
Oh,
They've already utilized the boom and been able to ride it. And check it out, make sure that was adequate for what their needs were. Chad has already looked it over, Colin was the one who utilized the boom. And then Gage was also able to go up in it, and make sure he felt comfortable. But that makes sense since he can buy that truck apparatus.
It's like I agree with the approach. I think we found the vehicle, that's able to operate possible. It seems like a good move.
Sure. It's got, does it come with any kind of warranty, and if so, does that include any lift hydraulics?
That's a great question. I'm sorry, I don't know. I would bet no. Probably like probably a short-term one, but I would imagine we would need to purchase an additional one. We don't usually do that.
but those vehicles do need certified, right?
We do certify them manually, and then the one thing that the folks who inspected it told us about was it does have a fleet record, so it was owned by a utility electric company, Texas, and basically it has all its maintenance records, so it's been on the team.
Yeah. What happens to the old truck? Is that going on auction or?
Yes, you can put that on something called municipal. It's basically like the local government version of eBay. And it's essentially, it allows us to, it's pre-authorized and pre-advertised. We found that we get a nice return on vehicles from that because people from around the country can bid on them and they come back. And we did look at other vehicles about the same age with the similar blues. They were getting sold between $3,000 to $5,000. There have been other ones that are closer that have gone for higher, so it's just, the luck of the draw.
Anyone prepared to close action?
I'll move that we authorize the appropriate council personnel to purchase a 2017 300 bucket truck with a cost not to exceed $65,000 from the utility auto sales to Burnville, Pennsylvania. And also that we authorize appropriate township personnel to sell the existing 1997 Chevy bucket truck.
Second.
Second.
I can move in second, any discussion? All in favor, aye? Opposed, no? Carried. Next.
Thank you.
Commissioner Bridge.
Yes. Yes, this is item 4C, is just a quick memo from myself, providing the outline of the consideration tonight, which is essentially to either take ownership of the Bishop Bridge from the county's current ownership, or essentially not. I have nothing else to add. That's one of the board's consideration.
I think with your staff report where you described that, also there's a letter from Kirk Stoner, Director of Planning, Cumberland County, in February 18, which is fairly self-explanatory. So, comments or statements from the board, and I'll address those with the line of issues.
Mr. Mark, yeah, posted online a lot of information about the bridge. I'd like to submit a copy of that to the board secretary, so that goes on the record. Trying to solicit more opinion about it. And I It's full, you know, let the public say what their view is.
Well, just that, you know, we have our 100th anniversary coming up. I think it's a great fit. And inevitably, in my opinion, there will be a bridge there in one form or another. The zoning, clearly that there's what I guess on that change. I just don't see that not becoming a bridge, just as the Gilbert Bridge was replaced with a modern bridge. I think they saw that that was something that would be necessary to go forward. And I think the other end of that road is likely to be the same. I think we have an opportunity to get a bridge at a substantially lower cost than what the modern equivalent would be, such as the one that replaced the Gilbert Bridge. So I'd be in favor of continuing our efforts to preserve this bridge.
I think in retrospect, maybe we should have been more forceful, maybe we still can be. I'm not opposed to preserving the bridge if it's done reasonably from a cost perspective and from a vehicular standpoint that is supported, et cetera. It's currently owned by the county. It seems to me that the county's traditionally in the bridge business. They have more access to funding and both state and county funding. So I wish that there were a way for they to be encouraged to take the project on its own. And I think to me it's more of a county project than this is a project. Because it's better than they were from $1 million to $2.5 to the existing bridge acceptable and not for vehicular traffic is good resources that we might be able to spend elsewhere. Although I'm not opposed to the bridge, and I think we would be short-sighted from a planning perspective not having a vehicular access over that negative creek there. That area. I might mention, and Alexis has given us, we did receive by correspondence prior to tonight 7 emails, and I believe 5 were in favor of purchasing the bridge and 2 were opposed.
One additional is coming to Sainsbury, 62.
Okay.
I don't think anyone said purchase the bridge. I think they said save the bridge. Maybe it's wrong. And I think that's what the problem is. The residents don't understand that to preserve it, it costs them a minimum of $1 million probably from around township funds, which currently, we don't own the bridge. It's just, I think it's added. It's been closed for 4 years, so obviously has not been needed. We've studied it for a couple of years now, and I don't think we've gotten anywhere. So it's a feel-good project. I would love to see it preserved. I don't think it should be able to run it around township residents.
So turning to the audience, I think Barry, you can do it. I'm just going by the way you came too early at the top of the list. Do you want to address the board?
Barry Schrock, 815 Williamsburg Road. I've read most of your and I'm looking at this project, thinking I see figures for 900,000. I see figures for $2.7 billion. Now the 900,000, is that just the bridge rehabilitation? I mean, that doesn't account for the abutments or the retaining wall or the labor tear it down and send it somewhere to rebuild. So I'm looking at $2.7 billion.
But I know that's incorrect. I mean, it's I think 850,000 is what it includes the abutments. So there's all the labor.
Honestly, we put out an RFP to have it restored, and we got one bid back, which didn't meet our requirements of the RFP. So really, we got no hard bids on it right now.
Well, when did we decide that? was thought to satisfy other conditions, but there were some agreements. That needed to be negotiated.
You're correct, and we asked the contractor for additional information that we didn't receive. So, no, I kind of support Rick's thing. It was a response. I don't think, to me, it wasn't a valid response.
So the prices, I know.
So we don't know, like, that's the really problem.
Well, I don't think that's true. I mean, it's not, but we can figure that out, but the other variable is, it's taken so long. The county has money already set aside to demolish them. $400,000 is our estimate of what it is. And we involved all along that money should not the township if we take on the ownership of the bridge. You know, because they're gonna spend it anyway. And, you know, apply that toward the rehabilitation. And it's just a lot of complicated rules and so forth, how you can use the money. Money has to be used in a very specific way. And I worked for Penn for 33 years. I it's like,
You get into a bridge, you really don't know about it, because you don't know.
but these really, it's like the old school way of taking this bridge apart. I mean, if you're a farmer, we're gonna put, you know, rusty cars. I mean, it's very similar to me. And it does not have to be complicated. You do not need cranes. It's just taking apart reverse order or something. I mean, we provided a lot of pictures of how it's done. There's even more pictures out there. We don't like to overwhelm people with too much information, but the approach has been done. The contractor that's 68 of these were these. And the associated people have done it much longer, and I think it's valid. I was looking all along towards the downside risk. You know, we're able to get this 400,000 from the eventually cover really under any circumstance. At least it just made environmentally friendly way.
County has said numerous times that we can't, $400,000 in meetings, way over projected. So that demolition money is not consistent for this project.
That's if I can ask the question. We were, you know, we thought the test rate of emergency access. Yeah, the goal all along was to get the vehicular access, but that kind of created its own issues. Okay.
So right now, the money does not exist for the demolition for the township to use.
It exists at the county level. We just need to find a way to include the language and bring it to the county.
On the letter that I got from Commissioner said that they would not let us use money for bridge.
Janice, when?
Alex Links, I'm the executive director of the Western Historical Society. Our president happens to be here tonight, Paul Sheeran, if you don't mind, I'd like him to speak before me. Is that okay? The society is at 939 President Drive. And okay, and we'll speak, and then it's okay.
My name is Don Paul Shear. I'm president of the Western Historical Society.
Can you give us your address, please?
My address is 417 North Front Street, Warrensburg. In fact, I say I'm not a resident of Oklahoma Township. Over my years, I've brokered a lot of properties, raised a lot of properties, so I know congratulations on my 75 years. I just briefly just wanted to share, because I'm here also to make a pitch to you tonight. If you're the missing link, I became president of the Gateway Historical Society, which was run in Des Moines. Then we had Long Island Township. And I became president. I was surprised to learn that there were no historical societies in most of the townships on the Bush River. So it was my goal to bring in those municipalities that didn't have historical societies. Since then, we had Hampton, Silver Spring, Fairview, Bergen, Conklin, and the only missing link is around. Our job is to assist municipalities in searching history, educating people about the history of the township and preservation. Our most successful recent projects was the saving of the Sheephergoat Bridge from demolition And it's going to be rehabbed, taken away, brought back. The money's obtained through a grant. Our most,
I'm sorry to interrupt, from where, was it state funding or federal funding?
that was a combination, but the main is coming through PennDOT. Which is interesting, that's a whole other story. Our most recent success was the saving of the sale of Peace Church, which of course goes back to the West Shore invasion of the Civil War. It's when it's sold, it's now owned by the Friends of Peace Church. So my point is that our main thrust as a society is not only education, but preservation. I might add that the emphasis, I guess, and the reason I'm here tonight is, I know this is the conversations. I'm just suggesting that there are ways. I agree that the county, I know the commissioners, I know that they're not conducive to be buying bridges. But they're going to sell this, they already own them. So that the reason I'm here is to urge you, because history lost can never be returned. The Bishop Bridge, like the Sheeper Road Bridge, is historic in nature. It's in here, it's in the Upper Elm Township in Cumberland County. So I'm just urging you that there's a way, even the delay, maybe. And as far as I read about the deadline, I see deadlines come and go, and I do believe that the county commissions would certainly give you additional time to find ways. This is what happened to us at Peace Church. We asked for ways to give us some time for ways to find a way other than selling it on the open market. So that there are ways that you could fund this without the county necessarily having to fill out all the funds. As far as the eventual ownership, of course, that takes on responsibility. We shouldn't tell you this, but the West Shore Historical Society is scheduled to become the owner of the Sheeper Road Bridge. That was part of negotiations. In order to say, York didn't want it, Cumberland didn't want it, nobody wanted it. We didn't want to see the story. So that's what I'm urging you to do, is to do everything we can to save the Sheeper Bridge. And if we can help, we're going to have to do so. And again, extend to you, we did present a proposal to you through our executive director. I might add that I met Janice Links because she called me. She lives near the Sheeper Road Bridge and asked for my help and the West Shore Historical Society's help. And through us working together, I expect to become executive director, and she's now become an unpaid volunteer, almost full-time executive director. And she can share a lot of things more than I can as far as the details into how the funding and so forth went for Sheeper Road. I just urge you to give serious consideration to doing whatever you can to save the bridge.
So the maintenance of the Sheepford Bridge is your responsibility?
It will be. It will be.
How is that funded then?
It's going to be through private donations. It's not that great, the expense. There's annual inspections. Obviously, every 5 to 10 years, there'll be some painting involved. But the overall expenses as maintenance is not as much as you think. Insurance, of course, is a factor. So again, I'm going this for you all for consideration to consider becoming our 8th member, which would finish my puzzle. That's the only missing link. We'd love to have you as a member to be here to start.
So I'm not as familiar with the Sheeper Bridge. Of course, is that a pedestrian bridge or vehicular?
It was vehicular. It was closed the same as the Bishop Bridge. Would say conditions structural. It will now be a pedestrian bicycle bridge.
I can't get, well, just personally, I can't get excited about that because I don't think it's not part of our township trail system. It leads to private property, so we can get to our system park. And from a planning perspective, I would hope that if the bridge remains, that it would be, that's just.
Well, we wanted that for Sheeper also, but it became an impossibility. It was PennDOT. I do a lot of litigation appraisals. I call PennDOT to stop it. They do whatever they want, whenever they want, however they want. I say that respectfully, of course. Okay. So PennDOT gets involved, you never know what's going to come out the other end. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank
Again, Janice Slate, I'm the executive director of the Western Historical Society. And as Don Paul said, we will be the owners upon completion of the rehabilitation of the Shepherd Road Bridge. So we do understand what the decision this is. We're actually envious of you that you're a municipality and we're just a small historical society. We know we have our work cut out with us for us in raising the funds, but the difference is that our bridge is going to come to us fully funded for rehabilitation. So we were able to get actually $2 million to rehabilitate our bridge through PennDOT's funding. I first became interested in the Bishop Bridge in 2020 when I found that like Shepherd, it was on your county's D list, which are the bridges that will be used until they fail and then be set to be demolished. So we started in the same place as you guys. In February 2022, I met with then Commissioner Vince DiFilippo about the Bishop Bridge. I had just visited the Red Mill Bridge outside of Altoona, and witnessed how one man had to take down the bridge by himself. And after seeing that and taking pictures, I brought those to Commissioner DiFilippo. After our meeting and after speaking to staff, Commissioner DiFilippo suggested that the LSA grant would be a good fit for Bishop Bridge. So I'm sure you're familiar with it as a municipality. It is up to $1 million and it is a no match grant. So you already put some, you already put the money in your budget to do this, $100,000, but this would be another option. Because we were already entering into an ownership agreement on the Shepherd Road Bridge, we weren't able to do any further work on the Bishop Bridge at the time. I think you'll agree that one bridge is enough for anybody to take over. But now Groundland has the opportunity to save and restore this historic metal bridge. It's one of the bridges that are rapidly disappearing from our landscapes. And they're an important part of our history. Important enough that PennDOT does have special funding for them. And a special publication that's put out featuring Pennsylvania's metal trust bridges. Your bridge is on Historic Harrisburg Association's preservation priority list. They've been following the story of your bridge for a few years now. And Cumberland County Historical Society also has been following the story of the Bishop Bridge. So it's important to people, it's important to preservation groups and historical groups who are available to you as a resource to assist you in any way you might need. I'm sorry to say the one thing that you need that we can't give is the actual money, because we don't have it, but we can certainly explore with you ways to raise it, should you decide to take on ownership of this bridge. For whichever long-term goal you have, pedestrian or transportation. We wanted our bridge open for traffic. We were unsuccessful. We then tried for pedestrian with emergency access. We were unsuccessful, but in the end, Historical Society really could not be responsible to own a bridge that's open for vehicles. The liability would just be too much for us. So I just put it out there for you that if you'd like to have a discussion. I did meet at one point with your township manager. We joked about people calling me the bridge lady. So that's how we can become known as. But we had to deal with the county. We had to stand firm on some issues, but they are interested in saving these bridges. They saved the Craighead Bridge a number of years ago by the county. Yes, the county owned bridges. One of them, the Craighead, was basically given to a private owner a few years ago, and then the Shepherd Road Bridge set to be demolished. It's now being saved, and just the fact that they are looking for other people who are interested in owning the bridge. I don't believe that you're going to convince them to keep it themselves, because we tried that for a number of years. We started in 2019, so we're 6 years in, and our project will finally go out to bid in August of this year. So just putting it out there, we're here, there's a community that would help you in the preservation world. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Janice, you're the person, you have some of the pictures that posted online and the other board members have seen. you actually were there when they were taking, you know, the boom truck, you know, taking apart the bridge.
Yeah.
One man did it, you know, dead of them.
Right.
So I
It-
think
it-
that's
surrounded by snow.
Or something, I mean, that's pretty indisputable evidence.
Yes,
It's eyewitness.
And
That's
we,
what it-
if we could have picked, we would have gone with, a contractor, much like, that you're considering, who would be doing, the project in the old fashioned way. These bridges are like adventure sets, they're put together a piece at a time, and they're taken down a piece at a time. So, I've seen it done, and it's really remarkable.
And we all agree the bridge has to come down very soon because it's attractive nuisance, the deterioration, so forth. And we have a way, the contractor, that I believe that we can bond, like the appropriate agreement to get it done. Like, and that would help the county and help us, and then we can take further steps.
Right.
We might maybe overcommitted ourselves to an approach, you know, going in, you know, trying to identify pedestrian emergency access, trying to identify vehicular, when we just should have identified, and let's get the bridge down in a careful way, in a cost-effective way, and then, you know, go forward. You know, these bridges can be stored, any number of things can happen, they can be repurposed, but, you know.
And I would just say, you know, I don't want to get involved in the municipality and the county business, but I do believe that there could be room for negotiation between you and the county based on our experiences in the past. So I think it's worth.
But tonight is not the original one, I mean, we've been looking into this.
Oh, no, I understand.
I wish it would have. That by yourself. Years ago.
Well, I did speak to your township manager last spring, you know, we did identify ourselves to you as a historical society, and much of what I'm saying about the Sheepford Bridge was actually in that proposal, so, but we're happy to talk to you at any time.
Yeah, thank you. Just for memory, I've interacted with several years with that one chief reserve, it's not that very, as he said, but
I appreciate the speaker's optimism, but we have had conversations with the county numerous times over the last 18 months that we haven't had experience.
Right, we're 6 years in, so.
All right, Jeff?
Jeff Williams, 334 East Meadow Drive. That's a neat bridge. It really is. We have any idea how many folks have called and complained when it's closed, if they haven't been able to either drive through, or do we have any data on that? Anybody hear any feedback? Dan? I'm gonna repeat what I've done before when it comes to a historic property. This is different because it's local government that's going to own, manage, and maintain it. To me, my opinion is, it has to meet several criteria for any historic property. First is the usability. Obviously, a bridge you can walk across and drive across, but we're not hearing that a whole lot of people are upset. It's all the way in the corner of the county, and maybe one side's even in York County. So, I mean, yeah. So, you know, that's serviced by another bridge that the county would put in. The second is the historic aspect. There's no question it's a really old bridge, and it's one of the few metal truss bridges left. The specific historic value, I would question. Many of you saw what I sent you about the Bowman Bridge in Savage, Maryland, owned by Howard County Recreation Parks. Completely restored. That historic value, that bridge was the first railroad bridge, all metal truss bridge in the country. So it's got some weight to its historic value. This is a neat bridge. But for a government using very precious tax dollars to acquire, refurbish, and down the line maintain it, I have a problem with that. We are lucky here in Howard County. Obviously, I'm from the park standpoint. This kind of money, if we have tax dollars, I'd rather have them spent on something that more people are going to use. I'm sorry, I've said it before and I got in trouble for it, but it's pretty and it's neat. But the usability is minimal. The historic value is old. And I do not support spending my tax dollars to acquire this, refurbish it and maintain it. And I think we're out of time. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you, John. Could I ask you a question or comment?
Sure.
I appreciate the information you gave, some full information. So, you live in the.
Yeah, I do.
And this, I've been on the board a year now. And actually spent a lot of money, everything's very expensive. I believe we spent $600,000 digging up 1,000% lineal feet. Well, Jason's here, he knows. Of stormwater pipe meadow that was 25 years, $600,000. And it was kind of installed incorrectly under curves. Yeah, it's actually a reline of this pipe.
Okay.
And who does that benefit? That was an extraordinary comment to me. And it benefited a limited, number of people. I have driven across this bridge many times over the years. It's a beautiful area that over Triumph Sports Park. That was my circuit go right Gilbert Bridge. And this one, it's used, people aren't aware of it. It's totally beautiful. I mean, just the trash history and say it's old. And I think it's just kind of, we can cut this cost down for the 900,000, despite what other people, they would say. I believe that's possible. We should make it conditional on getting the county funds. But there's all kinds of expenditures the township makes that can rightfully be, questioned. And in the, I'll just like my online material, there is actually a bridge on Ormond Road, which really resembles a stormwater pipe, right near the intersection of Ormond and. Yeah, it just shocks a lot of people that that's considered a bridge, and we have an estimate. Yeah, $345,000 to repair that. Now that's an estimate from CS Davis, and I kind of have more faith in the county engineers, which is sky high estimates for whatever reason.
Okay, well, stormwater management, I have no comment on that. I simply do not support the acquisition and extended maintenance of this bridge when we have a 61-acre park that's going to need development for the next few years.
Yeah, so we need $20 million for no, you're right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good.
I've been 384 Allison Avenue, and a former county commissioner. I want to first just take a moment to talk about the process we followed here. This has been a years-long process. And now here at the end, even though I had formally drawn the board, I found it hard to get a lot of information. I was concerned none of this was published on the website. Things weren't made available in public meetings. I've attended most of the public meetings. I'm not sure where the discussions were taking place on this, but it didn't appear to be in the public setting. So I did ask, could I get a copy of the responses to the RFP, which I was afforded a copy once, but I had asked for it from Rod Island Bridge Works. I understand that's the only party that responded. And I'm a little amazed that to call this a response to an RFP. It appears to me it's two close friends that like old bridges and decided to put together a company and see if they could save a few old bridges. We just heard John say done 6 to 8. The references say they've done 4. I'm not sure what the other 4 are, but in the reference
That's 6 and 8. And we just correct the fact or understand. I didn't think that an RFP in the process would be a public. I didn't want this. You're saying you saw it.
I have a copy of the township office. I have a copy of the response to the RFP, and that's a public document.
even before it's accepted and all that. That's it, I just thought.
You know, even
And they're like,
if that were,
it's
sort
sort
of
of
being have 4 responses, you're welcome to see all 4, that's my. God defer to this listener, but I came in and asked, I couldn't find it anywhere, as you've come, sometimes you can't find
and
it.
can Steve maybe just address that with, is it publicly disclosable before it's active?
Well, yes, well, after the bid submission is open, yes, it's a public document.
Yeah. So I
Sorry, thanks.
so I was, again, I was surprised by what I consider the lack of depth to this organization. It seems to be very very thin, I guess that's what the best word to use, in that all the work's done by these people who responded. They arrange this and then sub it out. I don't think the public knows that the way this would work, according to the RFP, is we would take possession of the bridge, and once we take possession, there's no giving it back to the county. And my understanding is that's what the county wants a decision of by the 17th or 18th of this month, 17th. Okay, so we would take possession, and then we would convey the bridge. We would give it to this company that's going to refurb it, along with somewhere between $400,000 and $525,000. Depending on how much engineering studies you, how detailed you were in requesting engineering. So they get a bridge and they get $525,000, and they are the legal owners of the bridge, and they take it down and they take it away and do things to it. And then if we want the bridge back, we need to pay another $400,000 to get it back, plus any other fees that might crop up. And if we don't want it back, they'll just take it. So they'll take the bridge and the township's $500,000 in tax money, and they'll be able to go sell that bridge to somebody else. I don't see where there's any restriction on them transferring the bridge, which they own outright, to another party. And I tried to find information out about the principles, and it appears there are engineers with different engineering firms, and this bridge is just maybe a hobby. I don't know. I really couldn't find a whole lot of information about it. I certainly couldn't find it done in Bradstreet or anything like that. So I'm a little concerned with that. I'm awfully concerned about the fact that unlike the Chieford Bridge, this bridge may need to have vehicular traffic in the not too distant future. We don't know, but it's a large section of the township back there that hasn't been developed yet. And right now, we're fortunate in that a private entity, Messiah University, allowed for the construction of emergency access road back there, which is gated, which only public safety personnel have keys to or access to. But if that would be developed back there, we would need a second access point. It doesn't meet the township requirements for the length of distance that main road would have. So we could spend $1 million to refurbish this thing, only to find out that it needs to be taken down or moved somewhere. And I think Mr. Graves mentioned, and well, in a roundabout fashion, that the Sheepford Road Bridge was done by a private group, but there's no municipalities involved. And when I was on the board and we were talking, maybe it's changed, but York County wanted nothing to do with this bridge. Cumberland County wanted nothing to do with this bridge. Montague Township doesn't want anything to do with this bridge. The people on the Montague Township side of the bridge don't want the bridge to remain open. They want to take it down and permanently take it down because they have relatives that back there. They tell me all the time issues they have. But to spend $1 million and not really know the quality of the work that will be done, I'm not saying it wouldn't be good, but if you don't like it, we'll just keep the bridge. $500,000 to see the bridge. I guess that's some kind of assurance, but there's still out $500,000 of other people's money, and you know that really concerned me quite a bit, particularly when we don't know what we're going to do. If you just put it there for bicycles, how many people bicycle out there? I mean, I just don't know. So I probably need to find this up, but I just found the process a little disturbing that we're here at the last moment, we have to make a decision now. And that there wasn't more information about all the costs involved, the kind of strange relationships that are involved here, in my opinion, to get this thing done.
And I have said publicly before, having looked at the response, BRB, et cetera, I don't think it was a responsibility from my perspective. And then we asked the contractor for some additional information. He had illness, and so we extended that, but we never did, in my view, get adequate follow-up information from that. So, well, I think we.
I'm hearing that tonight for the first time.
Well, you are.
I said that, I don't see that, that it was still unsatisfactory. I know we had remedies. But I mean, just, Jim, do you understand? I mean, I'm sorry.
And so in that vein, I think there's kind of two things, whether or not we accept the bridge, and then secondly, what we do with it and who. And I think the second question, in my view, it's not been adequate. Go ahead.
This way, like, it's a very small, it's a small firm and a very small industry. It's a very specialized field. The engineers that they're affiliated with, like, written some of the manuals for the National Park Service, it's at a very high level. There are, and what I was concerned when the bill was soliciting an RFP, that you hopefully get more than one. There are other firms that do that. Leading one is Fox Steel, I think out of Michigan, who has a more extensive portfolio. But when you study it, you will see similar costs to what we're being quoted for this work. So to just dismiss this tradesmanship, the blacksmith, whatever the people out do is just not very fair. So, thank you.
Anyone else that maybe didn't sign up but wants to speak on this issue from the audience?
Sorry, I came in late.
Sorry.
My client Peter, 104 Bishop Road. I'm actually
You're familiar with
the only resident in the room that lives on that portion of the street from around township. My house is just on the other side of the bridge, built in 1822. So the house is 70 years older than the bridge. The bridge was actually put in as part of the request of the people that lived in the property. To service their business, they had an operation mill, one site, that was their way of getting goods into town. I think I've made it clear to this board, to many of you, that our desire would be to see it for vehicular use. The bridge has essentially been a pedestrian bridge for the last 3 years, and it causes a lot of headaches. Without traffic that comes across that bridge anymore, people tend to come down there, hang out, we do things they're not supposed to do, middle of the night, you know, it's just, I've been before this board before and shared those thoughts, and they haven't changed. So certainly from that perspective, I would ask that, you know, the consideration of there are 6 residential properties on that road that are around the township properties. This bridge predominantly serves Monument Township, so the fact that we would bear all of that cost also causes me a lot of concern. I think that in the end, if this were to be purchased and it were to be purchased and used for vehicular use, it should be a shared cost for the folks that use it, which are your Monument. It seats less than 200 trips a day, 140 of those trips are Monument Township trips.
Question you need not answer, but I'm aware of your preference if it remains open to be vehicular. You and I had discussed that. I share that view. But if not a vehicular bridge, would no bridge be preferable to a pedestrian bridge?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm all for preservation. I sit on the farmland preservation board of the county. I restored my home. I restored other homes my entire life. But I think it comes back to resources and what you can do with $900,000 or more. I don't think it will stop there. I did read the proposal as well in response that Eric shared with me. And I don't believe it's a qualified response after you're going through it. I don't think the price would stop there.
Thank you. Okay, as I look at this, well, I think we have an obvious piece of correspondence with Kirk Stoner that we owe him a response after numerous delays, by January 17th, which again would be before, before our next meeting, so I think probably I might suggest that we should take action tonight, to either accept the offer of the county to own the bridge, or deny that request and allow them to retain ownership, or to request extension with offerings from historical society and other resources. Although from the tone of this letter, I don't believe the county is particularly amused with the numerous extensions we've had, but I don't want to preclude that from. So I see our task tonight, we can go in one of three directions. But discuss those, maybe I can't speak.
And one thing in Mr. Stoner's letter from December the 18th,
Yes.
like the last sentence in the first paragraph. To date, the county has not received any indication from the township that it is interested in assuming ownership and rehabilitating the bridge. And that doesn't seem correct, especially about the interest in rehabilitating it.
I thought we expressed numerous pieces of interest, both to Kirk as well as something like that.
That's a little surprising.
Well, many meetings we haven't, this could be it, I don't wanna, God, I never wanna interpret Kirk Stoner, even though he's a friend. He may mean that while we have asked questions and been in communication, we haven't given a solid proposal, or actually, maybe that's what it's referenced.
I think we agree. I mean, I understand the rationale of having decisions like that, this or give off whatever. But the other part of his letters, so I'm going to interpret this good news in a way. He says that the counties have performed engineering and secured the necessary permits for this project and need to move forward with demolition in 2025. The part I thought was good in that is that they already have the permits, and that I thought they should, the township, this excess ownership could be transferred to the township, so that we could get moving quickly on the project. And earlier to be some of the delay and the confusion has always been utilizing the PennDOT funds, and it's like saying open sesame, we have to ask the question of PennDOT in a very specific way that complies with what's it, publication on with fuel tax manual, so legislative acts. So it was a little ambiguous. I mean, what I thought we should do is extend the bridge, but with conditions back to the county. Whether they accept them or not, I don't know, but I think they would. But the primary condition is that the money they set aside for them should be escrowed. And we believe that to be $400,000, and that they, if you place it in an escrow account and used only for allowable costs associated with permitting, removal, demolition, and remediation of the bridge in a manner consistent with its future preservation. The funds to be released to Upper Allen Township within 10 days of application, subject to Cumberland County verification of allowable use. So we just really have restricted it to what is known to be acceptable to them. And the money's going to be spent one way to cover to demolish the bridge. And I just think we can narrow that language down, have the money put in that escrow. And if we have, I believe they can perform, they will be fine. I don't see the risk in myself. We are, it's the old joke, you want to buy a fridge, and we are taking something that is considered a liability. We should be paid for that, and that can clearly over the cost. So just wanted to mention that we don't, before things get the bridge down, I think we can do that and preserve our future options, not having to commit right away just for vehicular or pedestrian, but just to commit it to getting the bridge down in 2025.
With the comments.
I am with doing their voter number is also to be taken as the county that we don't want ownership, so. I think motion needs to be for that.
Well, we could be a little clearer, to understand, I mean, what your suggestion was, just take no action, and then when translates
So
it
no
up to.
no action is taken by this board,
Yes,
then that speaks for itself also.
and then after the 17th, that's the counties. That isn't kind of a little disingenuous. I mean, they've asked for a response, and so, you know, if we, rather than just let it lapse and say, okay, we're not gonna take the bridge, so we'll just do nothing. If we're not gonna take the bridge, I think we should have a motion to say we do not accept the county top.
No, I mean, this paragraph says if you want to pursue longer term bridge preservation opportunities, notify the county by January 17th.
Township wants to pursue longer term bridge preservation opportunities. The counties will transfer ownership of the bridge immediately. As bridge owner, the township is free to determine the future use of the bridge and the accompanying schedule for rehabilitation activities. Should the township want to pursue this option, please notify the county by 17. I indicate that we have 17 to tell them whether or not we want to open the bridge.
Oh, we have to do it every public forum. And so that's why it's on the agenda.
Absolutely, because I think we
Or
are.
just taking the point.
No, I think if we. Unless we tell them differently, you know, they would transfer the ownership, but I'm not convinced that I'm in favor of taking the ownership this time to get information. Personally. I would be open for a motion again to.
I think I would motion that we accept ownership of the bridge with conditions. Subject to agreement with the county and the conditions that, you know, I indicated earlier. Which, you know, if the commissioners can get no legal help to come up with the right language, or no help from this, you know. How do we, everything, I'm not criticizing the staff, I'm just saying there should be objective option. The way like Jennifer writes, you know, suggested motion to approve, disapprove, yeah, there's language. I'm not a lawyer, but I know the language has to be done properly. But we have no definitive language, and I hear Ken's concerns and Rick's, you know, I still think there's ambiguity that we clarify. But would we be able, and maybe the solicitor can address this outside of the public meetings, and we're of course short on commission at this point, but would we be able outside the public meeting to give, you know, Scott the direction to respond to him?
Yeah, I think that determination needs to be made in a public meeting. If there's gonna be some definitive action reported to them,
So your proposed motion was to accept the bridge with conditions. Are those conditions the four that you had in email?
Yeah. No, we should have a serious discussion, because I mean, constructive criticism is good. If you see, I try to keep things simple, I believe this whole thing be simple, and we save a lot of money if we approach it that way. Did you have a real strong objection to that? I mean, to me, it's worth a try with the county. And the focus here is on nailing down this $400,000 with.
The issue I have here is that, just like someone mentioned after the historic bridges, after history's gone, it's gone. After we own a bridge, we got a bridge. And I'm not sure I haven't done for that right now, given I'm not opposing your attempt to put conditions on. But those are conditions is we own the bridge and we don't have the money, or we find out later that we can't ever make it to PennDOT loading us for a bid or something. I see it as a potential money.
But I think we want to keep our options open. I think under no circumstance do we want to relinquish the right of ways. And so
It is that a motion?
Yeah, I would like some help, or is there any way, just like we changed the language on the sidewalks, we thought, yeah, with the fund has it, well, is there any compromise there to develop language that we feel we're protecting the township? I mean, we already own bridges in terms of the township.
I would suggest that, or as I'm interpreting your motion, you're making the motion with your 4 conditions, and that it would be understood by this board that they would be in prose and written explanatory way by our solicitor and staff. I mean, we would give them that courtesy, I guess, if we did that one.
Right, so I did send copy the solicitor on the proposed conditions. Do you have any response back? Is that?
Well, I just recently got them, I mean, conditions seem reasonable, and certainly if there is a conditional acceptance, if the county says, no, we're not agreeing to that, then in my opinion, you don't have an acceptance.
Right, that is really. I mean, was there anything drastically wrong with it or something you would add? I mean, I certainly thought it was worth a try, and it also focused the county's attention. You know, the demolition of the mediation line, how that.
We spoke verbally, you gave me those conditions, like you sent them to me, thank you. The 5th one that I would propose that concerns me is that we can get adequate and comprehensive professional liability insurance on the bridge, because once we own it, then we're liable. And I know that some earlier conversations, it was going to be quite expensive. If we could even, I know our current insurer wasn't willing to write insurance, but there are always insurance out there for something at a price. And to me, that's a,
and I thought Scott had addressed that. My understanding was if we had a plan to deal with the bridge, you know, don't forget it might use more reasonable rate. I mean, to me, the plan is the agreement with the accounting conditions, and the fact that we proceed with it. But I appreciate that. That's about it.
so we got 5 conditions. So I think Eric made a motion to accept ownership of the bridge in the county with 5 accompanying conditions.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion?
Oh, yeah, I'm just gonna say that, I would love to have this, bridge preserved, but it is not the duty of the township government to maintain this bridge. And the fact that we, 2 commissioners, I believe, went as residents to a county meeting recently and asked for an additional time to the county, and they dismissed that then, so I don't know what you want to keep looking for.
They can dismiss it. Are you really right about that, Rick? That what did you say? No obligation.
I don't know. So
It's
not,
in.
township residents should not buy the bridge. Yes,
It's in the comprehensive plan to protect the historic assets, and that comprehensive plan specifically mentions Bishop Bridge. And now we have a professional preservation assessment by Kingman Fleming that is eligible for the National Register. And so forth.
All right, under discussion. We'll vote. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no? No. Motion failed. Do we have an alternative?
That's developed one that we could all agree to. And unanimous, getting a sense from where they were going. One township that participated anyway. That's sad.
should the township be able to make a donation to a public, private entity? Motion that we let the Cumberland County Commissioners know that, Round Township does not intend to own Bishop Bridge.
Is there a second? I'll second that. Discussion. So if we were to do, if your motion were to pass, I think that wouldn't preclude us or any of these. What I'm trying to communicate is that I don't think the ownership right now of that bridge precludes us from continuing to advocate for saving it or for its rehabilitation or for getting other entities involved with helping us. So, you know, the fact that I guess I'm suggesting that if we were to accept your motion, but it doesn't mean that we necessarily don't have to express interest in and maintain interest and lobby the county to say and do something great.
I'll accept that change to my motion to include that in a written letter back to the county. Other entity.
Oh, then we're still interested in preserving and saving. I don't want to put words in your motion. I'm trying to recraft that, but, so let me take it. So
none of the information on the initial letters, what gets out of the cracks, people wouldn't want to move here, doesn't resident. So
I have a new resident. Yeah, interest. I mean, upwards of 1 million plus on that bridge with anything on it. We have a list of, we have a Cumberland County bridge at HRG, Cumberland County Parkway Bridge, HRG says it's going to fail soon. Something, and that's their estimate is 1.2 million. We have no money set aside for that.
you mean a township bridge?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we discovered there's some pretty high estimates. So we had 8 or so comments, like 7 were for preserving the bridge. One was
Jackson motion, and since we're still just talking,
Your track motion on. Well, our fourth option is that we can direct staff to tell Mr. Stover that we're unable to reach a consensus or an approved action and communicate that to him and then let the county decide what they want to do. I mean, if we got
I mean, obviously, we had Jane here. I'm not quite sure where she's still on this, but we're lacking a commissioner right now to make a decision.
Yeah.
A reason to maybe get a further extension.
we could put that in the rationale.
Okay, that's the manager that towards part of this.
No, I'm happy to work with whatever direction the board decides to go in.
You also put a lot of time into it and many hours of conversation, and so does Tim.
An alternative approach would be to be forthright and say we still haven't reached consensus. We are down the commissioner. We got a presentation from the West Shore Group, etc. That we could request an extension, but I don't think that maybe not. You know, so
What would you think? And I know we're at the moment the bond conditions, like here are the 5 conditions that we develop, and I would like Steve to study that more, maybe refine it and kind of give a counter proposal. I mean, maybe we can reach consensus about that.
are you suggesting we consider that as the next step and that we not respond directly to this letter and if the county wants to call a bluff and say on the 18th, well, it's our bridge, well, that's our block, or we can continue to ensure that we have some that what you're suggesting, right?
I'll lay out what you said about, the had to write in the staff.
Well,
we were mentioning, not having within the commissioner, we're mentioning the conditions that we would like to, conditions of acceptance. as defined by the solicitor. And notify the county that way. It shows we have taken interest. We responded to his December 18th letter.
You would put that in the motion.
This rate,
Scott, you, not to put you in the spot, but you have had the most communication probably with county staff and commissions, et cetera. I mean, and I sense from this letter that they're tired of our lack of a direct response, but do you feel it would be ill-advised if we want to try to extend it more, or would that just frustrate them? And you might have. I asked you.
Sorry, I don't have an answer for that. I mean, I think, I don't think the county is tiring. It's just that they have permits that are coming up to be done and they need to move forward.
Okay, what's a reasonable time period for you to work with what short group with your own conditions, et cetera? Can we turn that around? 30 days, 60 days, 90 days? I mean, I think if we go that direction, we ought to at least nod to the county that we will get back to definite answer.
so it's certainly that we.
No, I think you're on track with this discussion. I think it's important to let them know, put in the insurance. One of the reasons we are in fact seeking extension. I would prefer to proceed the course you just laid out there. I would rather put it out there than have come back and say no or yes or whatever, rather than just say no and not accept the bridge or not accept any additional effort to move forward. So I'd rather put something in there and
And the staff, solicitor, providing and.
I'm not worried with that. I mean, I would not be wasting the township's time. We've had 3-4 years, 4 years since it's been shut down. I mean, I'll make a motion again so we can have it on record. And then have it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll move that the county commissioners know that our own township does not intend to own Bishop Bridge.
Second. Discussion. So does that preclude us continuing to interact with them or make suggestions or, I mean, we don't intend to own it. Do we intend to not discuss it further as well? You know what I'm trying to discuss it.
We can still discuss it.
But in terms of the response that we're giving them now on January 17th, it would be that we're not accepting your motion. Everybody understand the motion? Any discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed, no?
No.
Oh, I guess that did. Well, I already missed Jeopardy, but we can discuss this forever. So I guess we can come to county and say the board was able to reach consensus. Let them do with what they want.
No, we can do better than that. I think an explanation, a courtesy to them, I think a counter proposal becomes conditions that we require. We discussed that. Well, how do you work further? Direct the staff to respond and include, those comments, including what Bruce said. Yeah, made a motion to accept, we made a motion to not accept. We had discussion.
So, could we, and I'm cognizant of Rick's comment too, that we burned on a lot of stuff. But, you know, that's sometimes how you have to process things. Maybe we could have a motion where we would advise the county that we're not in a position to accept the ownership now, but that we are working on some conditions by which we consider it, as well as with some additional resources that we become aware of, and that we will we will give a more definite direction of our intent within 45 days.
Do you want further reference to that, go down, Commissioner?
Sure.
Make sure that there's, is not.
I'm really good, like 30 days. All right, if you look at her Kevin's cycle of letters, it's November 18th, it's December 18th. He wants a decision by January 17th. Maybe 45 days is it?
My amount.
And normally it's gotta be a commissioner other than the chair.
Okay, that's fine. Well, let me restate what I think I said. What's the George? That we communicate to the Cumberland County that we're currently operating for commissioners. We've discussed this issue, did not ask the motion to accept or not accept the ownership at this time. We are working on the listing of conditions by which we would consider ownership and further rehabilitation. And we'll have an answer to them within 30 days. Or whatever 30 days is January 17th. Does that give us time to decide? It's still there than February 20th.
The only thing I went in, you said, it's like, I would give them the blind conditions. So rather than like, if thinking that, then that'd be speculative and tentative. Well, suggested.
Why don't we communicate so we set a deadline at our next meeting, we can and find things so that we all see them in our transparency, and then we send those in. We don't have to wait until the 20th. I'm suggesting that we can have incremental ongoing communication.
Right, I'm just, trying to share with me that we have had serious substantive discussion, so I can support that.
Are you making that motion?
Yeah. I don't want to repeat it.
Is there a second? That's so much. Do we have a second? Second. We move to the second discussion. I also think that it's pretty incumbent on, well, this is a board project, but the two of you, Phil and Eric, have really been involved more at the ground level, and with the information we heard tonight and the optimism that they can help us, I think we gotta get an immediate conversation there and see if that is going to be helpful as we make our decision by February 20th. Okay.
I didn't hear anything to do tonight. I knew the West Shore Historical Society was involved in Sheeper Bridge. I read all their proposals. We heard from the county that they're going to accept any conditions, so again, I think this is just adding, just like we've been doing for years now, adding more time for that result.
I'm not optimistic right that it will change, but at least we are saying that in 30 days we will have something more definitive than we have tonight. And I guess I'm doing is to cut off the interest, so I'm trying to get the total board adequate opportunity to have input as well as hopefully take in, input we heard from our constituents tonight, and so, I guess mine is more for a flare process than input result. Any other discussion on the motion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, no? No. Motion carried 3-1. Okay. Anything else in, public improvements? No, sir. Sanitary sewer, we have nothing on the agenda, is there anything, that we need to report?
Just that, Cody Hockenberry has taken over as sewer department director, as, at plan with the former assistant sewer department director, and Ryan Reed has taken over as, the superintendent. He was our senior operator at the plan. Cody will be here at the next meeting. There's more sewer things to come, and I believe at the last sewer meeting, they did discuss the Weathercroft sewer projects and came to a consensus to propose to the board with its selection of
The priorities.
yes. So when you get the opportunity to advertise the bid docs, you will have an opportunity to decide if that's what you would like to continue to go forward with, and if not, then we move on from there.
And that's all just for everyone to our former director of sewer operations of area. Right up, as they're retired, so this is backfilling with some of our younger boys. Moving into administration, we all received the letter that we received from we have Ginny Anderson and her resignation 12/31/24. I would entertain a motion to accept that resignation.
I'll move that we accept the resignation of Virginia Anderson as the commissioner. This one was read December 31st, 2024.
Second.
The move and second discussion.
I was gonna ask when does the time start, if there's like a certain window of time to fill the vacancy, because I know this process when vacancy, you're saying Bob already started in December.
No, I understand that we have 30 days from the time we accept the resignation to fill the vacancy. And then if that is not filled, then it goes out.
So it's at some time.
That is correct.
Yeah. Thank you.
So, yeah. Perfect.
He's like screaming into the mic.
Well, it's nice that I hear all this sensitive. All right.
You turn the volume off, I take it.
Totally good. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Vote no, motion carried. Okay, we duly accepted, Judy.
And we have a discussion about how it's going to proceed or the need of the members side within the 50 days. I mean, it would seem like we would have to take action by 1st of February. That's February.
I thought maybe we could discuss that executive just in terms of process and the days and that.
And no, we have to be advertised. I don't think it wants to be, well, I'll probably just put on the website.
It doesn't even require that. I think that's probably what we might want to do, but as I understand, actually, we could appoint someone tonight. I'm not suggesting we do that. There's not, the things that you're suggesting in terms of openness, transparency are good practices, but they're not required. I understand.
So we agree. That's the way we want to proceed. You get open transparency, accomplishments in 30 days.
I don't think we just got it.
How are we gonna advertise for the agency? And what are we gonna ask for on the applications? I would think that's,
You have to do that.
We don't matter, I think that we discussed the executive session.
And we're going to discuss an executive session tonight. That's my intent. Okay, good. Okay.
You can discuss the process, but you can't discuss the candidate that's filling this exception to the sunshine act.
Right.
Utilize it.
We have a request from, West Shore Christian Academy.
Yes, the township received a request for a resolution supporting West Shore Christian Academy's city grant application, and essentially acting as a pass-through, performing pass-through services for them. I believe Jenna Early from the DP firm is here to represent the requester and answer any questions the board may have.
To the podium. Name and address, address the board.
Sorry, we were towards the end. You can
Mark Seymour, what is my address? 113 Maple Ave, Richmond, Pennsylvania.
And what are your titles for the second?
I am the director of economic development for the TT firm, which is a consulting firm on the Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, my title is president of the Christian School Association of Greater Harrisburg. We have two schools, two K-12 schools. One is Harrisburg Christian School in Randallstown, and one is West Shore Christian Academy in Shirestown, closer here to West Shore. We sure do, yeah. It's interesting. I'm sitting here in the audience. I'm looking at your crest behind you about first class. West Shore Christian Academy has been in existence for 50 years in Shirestown. Had its ups and downs. In 2017, was struggling, and the Christian School Association of Greater Harrisburg was asked to help the school. It was acquired under the CSAG, is what we call it. So I don't say that name over and over again in length, but CSAG is the acronym. So in 2017, Harrisburg Christian and West Shore came together. The schools have really grown in strength. West Shore in particular had 300 students at acquisition in 2017. Today we have just under 600 students, so we've doubled the size. And when I see your first class there, we've been looking for the last 2 years for a building that will enable us to expand our facilities. And the expansion that we're excited about and really located is the Delta Dental building in Ross Moines. It's a beautiful, wonderful building with 25 acres, 91,000 square feet. And it's a place that we're going to place our high school for West Shore. The 9th through 12th grade today is 200 students. That building is going to enable us to get to 400 students. We're seeing incredible demand. We're seeing really good success with our students, with just basically doing amazing things, post-graduation, going to college, really being successful in life and contributing to the local communities. We're really excited to bring our high school to Butler Township. This is going to be a first-class school. It's going to be a top-notch facility. We're raising funds right now to make that a reality. We're partnering with a lot of our local schools. So we have a dual enrollment program with Side University, and it's great to be in that local market. Our architect is Crabtree Boardwalk is also here in the market, and we're seeing a lot of excitement about the project. So we have an agreement to purchase the building. It'll actually be a purchase next week, where we close, and then we're planning to open in fall of 2026. The LSA grant is going to be supporting an enhancement to the property to build a gym. So we're looking at a RACP grant as well as a LSA grant, as well as a private foundation, private individuals supporting us to be able to build a gym on the property. And we would also look to do some type of fields in front of the building. So we haven't come to land development or haven't come to permitting yet. We're just really trying to take it step by step, do it right, do it in an excellent way, and really be a great partner here with the township to add a private school to the township. So.
And I think your specific request, if I understand it correctly, is that you're going to the right grant or some sort of.
Yeah, the specifics are an LSA grant, and we would like to use the township or have the township be able to be a pass-through. Jen is here to support that process and just She knows it much better than I do. She's supporting the schools and helping us with grants and helping us to really find the ways that we can fund this project. So you want to say a few words on
There's numerous ones there. It's the statewide one that we're going after. The statewide LSA is the one we're going after. Sorry for the so for the statewide LSA, instead of being like a county-based one, it is for the virtual gaming that goes on in the state. So your gaming, your fantasy contests and stuff like that, which ends up being a bigger part of money, $5 for grant and $1 million. So you're with new matches, we also started their conversation. So we're doing that one first for this project, and then going into the next round in some months, which will be so. In this conversation to join with the township as a pathway for those things, which typically comes along as an administrative fee, if you will, of the township required from what is award, right? Which is something you guys will talk about.
Percentage basis.
The percentage basis, so it's typically administrative fee, and it's about 2%, but that is.
So Scott, I think the applicant has talked with you previously and from a staff perspective, you're supportive
Yes, Township has acted as a pass-through entity in the past for Versailles University. In my experience, there was few actions that needed to be taken other than receiving funds from the state and then turning around. Got a check from the township. I don't recall administrative fees over that last week, but I don't recall any issues.
And am I correct that this was a request from Representative Cooks?
Representative Cooks was who notified us of the request, yes.
Yeah. Your question to the board.
Yeah, a few, I think, touched on some of it. And then you before the meeting, and gave you a copy of my questions. I hope it's not over the top. I guess looking at the list, or versus you have a school on the East Shore. Is the objective, are they going to be consolidated over here, or they're going to remain separate? So
yeah, these are
primary and secondary.
two independent schools. So the Harrisburg Christian School is not affected by this request. They'll remain. We're seeing really good growth there as well, and we're actually expanding our campus there. We own the campus, Harrisburg Christian. At West Shore Christian, we lease the building from from Bible Baptist Church. Traditionally, they founded the school and provided the facility at the acquisition period where they were sort of failing as a school, and the church was struggling. They said, "Would you buy it from us?" And so we now lease back the space, and so that will continue. We see us growing the facility, growing into the facility there when we pull our high school out and place it at Ross Point. And so we will continue to have K-12 here on the West Shore, just with 2 locations for that specific school. That's really not atypical for Christian schools, private schools. I've worked at many, Christian school, Delaware County Christian School, others where there's multiple campuses within multiple facilities on different locations within the private school sector.
I drove by the building too, but it's an impressive facility of building. It's a nice school. Yeah, and you have plenty of room grounds with it. High visibility, I think from by 15. The very prestigious building. I mean,
Sounds like you want me to buy it.
Yeah. And that was one of my questions. Not be noticing, I think, what I saw when it's going to come off the tax rolls.
It will.
And that's a loss. $260,000, I believe, annually to the township, the county, and schools maintenance. We're arguing about money for quite a bit tonight, and that's a lot of money because that goes on for a long time, and you get present value in it back. It's a substantial amount. So you have a response to how do we, benefit that way?
Yeah, I think we're gonna bring a top-notch high school to your specific township. And secondly, we are gonna be a great neighbor. We're gonna have top-notch facilities that can be used by local residents, whether it's just walking through, whether it's the fact that we're gonna be bringing in games and summer camps and different, think about all of the competing schools that we play against that are gonna be bringing family students to our campus, using that facility and then, spending money in the township. So I think there's gonna be, I've not done an economic study, that's not my background, but I know that we're gonna bring a lot of traffic of parents, other schools, et cetera, coming in. I think it's gonna raise the awareness too for the township. Can I tell you how to monetize that? Probably not, but I think we're gonna be a good neighbor. We're gonna offer a lot of options for both for visiting people to come in and spend money in the restaurants and the gas stations and the malls, et cetera. But we're and we're also gonna be a facility that the township can call us and say, hey, we have a need. This year, Sharonstown did an anniversary celebration. They held it on the Bible Baptist Church, actual kind of a playground fields. We had a big festival for the town. And so, we really desire to be a good neighbor and to be able to participate in the life of the community. We think it's an enhancement for you.
And I don't know how many employees will be at that facility that they'll be paid or needing on as well.
They will be, yes.
And on the positive record for this side, not to be NSC, but the closest next week, there'll be a payment for transfer taxes.
There will be, yes.
Are you able to indicate kind of the price it's gonna transfer for?
You know what, I don't know.
It's assessed.
I've seen HUD sheet, we're purchasing at $5.3 million.
Okay.
That we literally made an offer, we're a Christian school, so I believe that God has something to do with this, right? We made an offer on this building a year and a half ago. And we have been looking for 2 years. We almost bought the PNC building from Carlisle Pike. That was another option. We had a deal and we had an agreement to purchase. It was at a lower cost. But this is a better building and a better property. And thank you.
It's really office space. It's not a lead market. Yeah. You had good time, but that's seems like a very.
I talked to the people who developed it at the beginning, the Jordan family, and they're like, we want the lights on those, and they're supporting us to
Have you contacted the school district as a courtesy, or is there any, what is the impact of this? To the school district, that was long.
I saw in your notes, like mechanical, we have 104 students from mechanical in our school currently. The services that they provide to us is basically busing services. So we have contacted them relative to assuring that we're going to be able to continue busing services. But other than that, they don't really provide services to us. So I don't think that we're pulling resources in any way. And we're basically just expanding our facility to help accommodate the growth that we currently have.
And I don't know if I'm speculating here, my understanding is really, you don't burden the school district. Our school is not burden the school districts the way, like the charter students do, where they have to pay $X for each student.
Yeah, we don't get any funding from the local school district. The alternative in Pennsylvania right now is like our EITC program. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's a way for tax dollars that individuals pay personal state taxes can be redirected to our schools, and then they get a rebate of 9% of that. We are taking advantage of that. We're having a really great year that's enabling us to be able to say we can afford this project. But it's not a school district drain in any way. In fact, I think the school would have to be accommodating even more students if we didn't have a private school in the market.
That's what I thought that was the leading enrollment with pressure or one.
That's the truth, yeah.
And what is like the tuition?
Yeah, actually, it's on the other side. I usually know this off the top of my head, except that we have 4 different tuition rates. Yeah, 2 at one school, 2 at the other. For an elementary school student, it's $83.95. For a middle and high school student, it's $91.95. When we go to the high school here, we're probably going to split out our middle and high school tuition rates a little bit, but that is actually in the bottom third of the private school market in Pennsylvania. When you look at like Lancaster to us in terms of our community, et cetera.
Yeah, when they have all this environment, private schools, you do much more than $1. public school. I think I did ask something about like special needs students and all that, that's not, is that a requirement?
We're not a full-time special needs school, so it's not like if you can't be in the regular classroom, we probably can't service that student. But we offer a ton of services, and the fact that we're small classrooms lets us really get individualized, so we do it in a different way and not as expensive.
And it's the launch of all my licenses, other than.
Our board is, we're also an association-driven school, so every parent in the association is a member, and I have to go to them for certain issues. So for example, to purchase this building to take any debt, I had to go to the parent association, get a more, approval, which we did that. So, we were really happy. We had about a 90% success rate on that for those that voted on it.
I think you covered my questions. So, there's anything else?
Okay, is there a closed action?
Our action is for a resolution. Does there a resolution require a number for our resolution?
Yeah, okay.
Is that right?
11.
I'll move that we resolution 1106. The Young Brown Township Board of Commissioners, listing a statewide local share assessment grant of $1 million from the Commonwealth Financing Authority to use to the West Shore Christian Academy student project.
Is there a second? Second. Been moved and seconded. Discussion. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
No. Okay.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Purchasing guidelines, Scott.
Yes, and Friday for 6C is the annual into purchasing guidelines, which assigns the purchasing levels of requirements for shared purchasing levels, and it also assigns purchasing officers in the township. The two purchasing officers in the township are myself and the chief of police.
Okay. Question, Scott? You have a proposed action, this would be resolution 1107.
I'll move that we approve resolution 1107. Establishing revised purchasing guidelines and authorization requirements.
There's a second.
Second.
Moved and second. Discussion. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. I think that does it for admin, unless there's something I missed, Scott.
No, sir.
Park and Rec, there's nothing on the agenda.
Just a reminder, we did not meet last month because of the holidays. Our next meeting is January 29th at 6:30.
Yep. Moving then to miscellaneous, solicitor update.
I can report.
Tax collection, I don't assume there's a report.
There is none, they have.
Capital Region Con, just to remind everyone again, on January 20 is our annual dinner over at East Shore. I think all of the commissions have notified Jim of what they want to eat, etc. So we'll see you there. Doubt whether it may be met.
No.
State Association, I have no updates. No one else does. Is there any public comment? Okay, we will move into executive session to get some new updates and thank you for your time and your attendance, folks.
Someone else, the whole meeting.